Everyone speaks English? Not anymore, they don't. I'm Dr. Jonathan Downey, and this is Inside Interpreting. For years, people have thought that you could set up a large conference and just have English and everything would go well. Well, as you saw in an earlier video, I recently was at International Confex in London. And there the head of diversity at an events management software company called Cvent said that in his opinion the days of the English-only event will soon be over. He didn't mention them, but we could see lots of trends pointing this way already. For example, Netflix subtitles most of its shows in many languages and in some cases even does multilingual voiceover. The tools to do those things are far cheaper than they ever have been before. The internet is making it far easier for people to access information in the language that they want very quickly. And so, quite simply, people are fed up of having to follow conferences in their second, third, fourth or fifth language. Now, this goes against the grain of what much research in interpreting studies and even in business studies has said. There's a massive body of research on the effect of English as a lingua franca. And if you talk to most interpreters, English as a lingua franca is actually an existential threat to interpreting. But perhaps because of Brexit, perhaps because of political changes, perhaps because of people getting used to seeing things in whatever language they want, maybe that threat is beginning to subside. Certainly, according to the events experts, the tide is turning. What does that mean for you? Well, if you're an events management company, that means something very, very simple. In every quote that you provide, in every brief that you get from clients, your feedback must include, let's look at whether interpreting is helpful. Even in fields, and I should say especially in fields where people have gotten used to English as a lingua franca, we need to be on trend and already saying to clients, let's look at providing interpreting. Let's look at providing multilingual websites. We think your impact will be greater if you do this event in more than one language. That means pricing the cost of interpreters in all of your quotes and estimates. If you're an exporting business, things are even simpler. You don't have to worry about sending back briefs and quotes to events management teams and trying to get 3 people to talk to each other. If you're an exporting business, my advice to you would be this. If you want to sell products outside of the English-speaking world, grab an interpreting team as soon as you can. My earlier video on consultants versus agencies versus hiring direct helps you with the most obvious and first decision that you need to make. But you need to make that decision. If you talk to exporting experts, they will say that yes, there's a massive market in the English-speaking world, but the non-English-speaking world is at least 3 times bigger. You can try and trade abroad in English if you wish, but the political power of English does seem to be waning. Do you really want the risk? For the sake of your reputation, for the sake of your image, for the sake of persuading your customers to buy when you're a new entrant to the market, I would strongly recommend that you work with expert interpreters to make sure everything goes right straight away. We've gotten so used to the world speaking English, and now even if the world does, the world wants us to speak their language too. Maybe it's time we adjusted. I'm Dr. Jonathan Downey, and this is Inside Interpreting.